Okay, so if you're struggling with debt and trying to consider your options, there's one huge mistake people are making that can sometimes end up costing them thousands of dollars. Honestly, after working with over 1,000 people to get out of debt, I've actually uncovered a simple yet costly mistake that people are making. So in this video, I'm going to break down 3 red flags to be aware of in the debt industry, your number 1 mistake to avoid, and finally, how to actually avoid it. Before we dive in, just a quick heads up, this video is just for informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal or financial advice. Okay, so when it comes to navigating your debt journey, there are 3 common red flags that you may not be aware of. First, deceptive pre-qualification loan mailers. I've talked about these a lot on this channel. There are these mailers that people get stating they pre-qualify for a consolidation loan with a super low interest rate. One example I saw recently was showing a 5.99% rate. There's like this invitation code on the mailer, so it feels personalized, but when you actually call the company, most of the time, if not every time, they deny you and tell you that you actually qualify for their debt consolidation program. So you may be wondering then, okay, well, that's interesting, but why should I care? And that's a great question. Ultimately, a debt consolidation program is vastly different from a consolidation loan. Whereas with a loan, you're getting money that you can use to consolidate your payments and pay off, let's say, credit card debt. However, in a debt consolidation program, you're falling behind on your payments, and then the company is negotiating down the balances for less than what's owed. So to clarify, with the loan, you may see a credit score increase, whereas with a program, you could see a significant credit score impact, risk of being sued, and potential tax obligations. Okay, so the next red flag is pushy sales tactics. At the end of the day, you're trying to resolve your debt. So there really shouldn't be anyone pushing you to one option over the other. So if you're on the phone with a company and it feels like they're trying to sell you on a program, it may be a sign to potentially take a step back. Read through their BBB complaints and maybe their Google reviews, as well as maybe compare that option that they're selling you to another option. Okay, the third red flag I want to talk about is still kind of related to debt sales calls. It's about only hearing the pros and not the cons. Ultimately, a company that is explaining a relief program to you on how to get out of debt should be transparent. Not only sharing why it's a helpful program, but also sharing the drawbacks from the program and how it may specifically impact you. So if the sales rep is only talking about how amazing the program is, and then you're only really finding the cons out when they're going through their disclosures at the end of the call, it may be a red flag just to be aware of. Okay, so the moment we've all been waiting for, the number 1 debt mistake to avoid. It honestly may sound simple, but at the end of the day, I'm making this video because I've seen this mistake happen time and time again. The number 1 mistake is not comparing your options. Again, I know it's simple, but I've talked to hundreds of individuals who have already signed up for maybe a specific debt program that they most likely should have never signed up for. Here's the thing though. Sometimes people sign up for those programs because the company they're speaking with isn't being transparent about the cons. So they end up just signing up right then and there. However, I understand that talking about your debt isn't the most fun, but it's ultimately a huge part of your financial situation. So taking the time to honestly compare all of your options can be crucial. So how do you avoid making this mistake? Well, one way you can do that is by doing a lot of research on the different debt options like debt payoff planning, nonprofit credit counseling, debt settlement, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and consolidation loans. Understand how the programs work, the estimated costs for all the different options, and then the pros and cons. That way you can lay out all the information in front of you so then you can make the most informed decision. Okay, we did build a free debt calculator that will do all of that for you based on your actual specific situation. So if you want to save time and figure out what all the costs, pros, and cons are for each option, just take the calculator in the description. It should really only take 5 to 8 minutes to complete. All right, so now that you know what the number 1 debt mistake you want to avoid, there's still a crucial question. Which debt solution is actually right for you? Well, there's a method we've used with hundreds of individuals to help them identify which option saves the most money. So watch this video if you want to stop guessing and start knowing which path will get you debt-free faster.